course, this is much a bigger map, and Pili Pili is known for his Blink Stalker All-ins. I would not be surprised if we saw it happen on this map. Really depends about the spawn positions, but every once in a while now, here and there, I see these very good Zerg players just be able to completely rebuke that, and then Pili Pili gets in a position where no damage done with the Blink Stalker All-in, and it starts to look a little bit grave for him.
Yeah, Blink though, like as you said, especially if Zerg players take the third that is nearest to their main, it can be so devastating.
And Pili Pili is quite good at executing.
Yes, he is. So we'll see how it goes.
Here we are on Ruins of Ceres. In the bottom left-hand corner, it is the Green Zerg player up 1-0 in this best of 3. It's Tefl.
And his opponent spawning in the top right. It is our light blue Protoss from Psystorm Gaming. It is Pili Pili.
Tefl's one of the few players that, I haven't met and I still can picture what they look like. When I said Tefl, just this image came right to my head and I was like, wow. It's like weird, just like my head went into dictionary mode. Like, okay, where's Tefl? Okay, there's the file on Tefl. One of the few players that I can actually think of, that's what they look like. Freak me out.
I can kind of see, I can have a mental image of Tefl also.
Shh. It's my special thing. Come on. Come on.
Okay.
Get with this.
Again, we have Tefl going for that quicker natural. Not a bad idea on this map.
Pretty standard, especially on Ruins of Ceres, to take that 3-hatch before pool like he did on Dusk Towers, especially with cross spawns. Tefl does not know that, but he will know that pretty darn soon. It looks like he's going to open up hatch gas pool. He's a little bit wary about whether it be mind game or the aggressive nature of Pili Pili currently on this map and in the matchup.
Yeah, Pili is known to be aggressive, and he showed that in the last game, but Tefl, he did pretty well against that regardless, but it wouldn't surprise me if he, you know, if Tefl still played a little bit more defensively.
In the early Legacy of the Void, there was a lot of really cool stuff that Pili Pili was able to do with early 2-gate openers, a couple of depths, sending them here and there. I don't know, it was in the meta and it's kind of turned out of the meta after a while, but I still think that is the possibility that your opponent pretty darn hard. Not so much on Ruins of Ceres, of course, because it's a huge map, but on the majority of the other maps because of the greedy Zergs at the moment in the meta.
Yeah, and these spawning positions will make it a little bit harder for our players to do something super aggressive.
Not only is it really just the overall aggressiveness, but of course warp prisms factor into that, and you gotta remember, it's not horizontal or vertical, it's cross spawn, so it does take a while if you want to execute those DT warp prism drops, whatever. It's just everything is going to be slightly delayed for Pili Pili, which in theory, in a lot of situations means, okay, I need 5 more seconds, I got my 5 more seconds for my Overseer, whatever. And it's much easier to defend for Tefl, but you know, we'll have to see where Pili Pili goes with this. His previous build in Game 1 was pretty standard Robo into Twilight. Now he can do that again, but of course with the Twilight you have Charge, you have Blink, you have Resonating Glaives. He's a variety of openers he can go from this early build.
We do have the Twilight, and one interesting note here, Tefl has taken the third base in the location that makes Blink pretty nice. You can attack this third, blink up into the main, cause a bunch of problems in the main, blink back down to the third, cause problems in the third, and it's really annoying.
It just goes on forever, I feel like. Truly, the reason it's so annoying is it just goes on forever. Like, blink back out of the main, well, you gotta send your roaches around, and it's not an issue of control, generally. It's more of an issue of you just purely don't have enough roaches. They need to be all in one place to face the stalkers, or else you can't quite do it. But I have seen a lot of players do remarkable jobs at defending it with pretty much Roach Ravager and just great control and micro. Oh, this Adept gets surrounded. It looks like it's barely not going to get surrounded. It will die in the end. There it is, surrounded. Every time I say it's surrounded, it just gets out of there. Like, nah, I'm slippery, but it dies. Yet, Pili Pili says, okay, cool, you're on a third base. That means I can go Blink. You can see right as that happens, cues up Blink off the back of this to start his Blink Stalker all-in, and seen it work a variety and multitude of times in this map, but we'll see how Tefl chooses to defend, and honestly, he should know that this is going to happen. This is generally what you see out of Pili. This is generally what you see on Ruins of Ceres.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Tefl knows inside this is definitely a possibility, and might start preparing for it here soon. Ooh, but we do have a nice little drop coming out from Tefl. Pili does see it though. His Mothership Core does manage to catch this, but these Lings, they are going to get some damage, and they're going to get a scout off. They're going to see that there is a Twilight Council, and that could be really telling. That's almost as important here as killing the probes.
Beautiful jump into the main. That was only 8-ish Lings, maybe a couple more in the total of the attack. But as you said, spots Twilight Council. Picks up two workers. No, not too much, but still, it gets in there and identifies exactly what Pili is up to. And by the way, I love the change in Legacy of the Void, of course, with individual Overlord upgrades. This is the most genius move ever because Zergs have just all this variety of drops opened up for them now. But now in other people's playbooks, it's starting to have to kind of enter in there now. Even though it wasn't a huge drop, you got to think about that. If that was maybe double or triple the Lings, I know it's a lot more than what he had, but still, if he committed to that was only in 2 base, that's looking incredibly grim for Pili in a lot of situations with these drops. Players don't quite have it in their playbooks yet to defend completely for them, and sometimes they can just take them completely off guard.
Yeah, sometimes I forget their thing, and you know, they're definitely pretty good on this map as there's a lot of Fog of War in your main base. But yeah, even with that, it still slips my mind that they can happen.
I love you're using the term Fog of War, because I can remember it's like playing the original Warcraft and it being called Fog of War, but it's kind of like, it's transitioned out of this, but I really wonder who's the first time was like, huh, well, it's darkness, what are we going to call, I mean, but if there's a fog, like, I don't know. Kind of a weird thing if you think about it. There's a fog because of what's this bloody mist all over the place. That's what happens. Such bloody battlefields. But you know, Pili is getting ready to move in the north hand of the map, or north hand of the map, Kappa. In the middle left-hand side, he's posturing to attack, and he's going to be able to blink up to the main. Tefl already has Overlords, though, to spot this. They are also a grouping creep. They see exactly what's going on. And Pili may be able to kill them and push that back, but Roaches, Hydras, and Spines are on the way, and they should be at least having a decent early defense of this attack. But it goes on for a couple of minutes, so he's got a long road ahead of him.
Yep, and there is the blink up into the main. However, there was a little bit of army waiting here. Is it enough, though? That's the question. And there are a lot of spines. Those spines are really making this tougher for Pili.
Pili has what he needs, but he's also got to be really careful if he starts doing blink micro versus either spines or main units, because generally right now, you know, that blink, that's for blinking up and down the rocks, and it's something coming into Legacy of the Void a little bit more. Oh, I love the DTs. 3 of them on the low ground, sadly, but still, what we're seeing more and more in Legacy of the Void, especially the Disruptors, is just these big units that force Stalkers to blink out of the way, and you see less kind of individual micro back of the injured ones in the front. Generally don't see that, but we see big blinks, and that's what we're seeing right here. To boot, 3 DTs, you basically are forcing your opponent to fall back.
Yeah, at least for now, the Overseer is just about finished for Tefl, and now it is, so we do have Archons being morphed for Pili. Archons are pretty strong still.
The War Prism is very close to getting sniped, but the Hydras do not have muscular augments, which would make them faster off creep, so for now they're going to be trailing a little bit behind of these Roaches. Roaches do have Roach speed, and ooh, this is going to be a beautiful concave for Tefl. One force field kind of in a unique position does block 2 Hydras from moving through, but overall it's a nice concave, and I don't think there's quite enough. More Roaches are reinforcing from that 3rd base, and muscular augments, the Hydra upgrades are going to come in just about a second that not only make them faster, but also the +1 rank. They may be able to pursue and even take out this War Prism. It's got to be super careful. But Pili finally has to fall back, and honestly, didn't even get a drone kill. He got 5 worker kills overall, and that's not where he wants to be. Tefl is putting himself into a phenomenal position. Oh, and Tefl's even going to get surrounded with a couple Roaches. Or he's going to get looks like some, maybe not a surround.
Yeah, this is looking pretty strong here for Tefl. He's getting some really nice engagements. He's been really, he's really been able to just stop this attack. Pili, though, he's still trying, but there's 3 spines in the main base. And defense is ready at the 3rd, so Pili's going to have to be pretty careful here.
Pili is transitioning off the back of this, though. He's got a 3rd Nexus up. He's not 100% committed into this, and he still has the opportunity to get a little bit of damage done. I'd love to see an extra DT. There's no Spore with this main fight, and the Overseer's a little bit delayed. Stars can even snipe it, but for now, there's just too many Roaches combined with 2 Queens and a Spine. We'll push this all back, and where's Tefl going from here? He does have the Hydralisk Den. He can go into Lurkers. He's got a lot of roaches, a lot of hydras, and they are upgraded, so he could push off from here. But Billy's put himself into a phenomenal position. Disruptors, the third Nexus is up, and as Protoss, he generally has a little bit easier time moving on out of this, but he's still got a lot of opportunity to damage, and now all the Hydra Roach Force is caught outside the main.
The Warp Prism was just taken out too. So Pilly is just going to have to do as much damage as possible now with these Stalkers. Is going to get some drone kills though. There's still that. So what Pilly needs to do now, I think, is just survive until he can get a decent army going. But I think Tefl at this point is really going to smell blood in the water. He is moving across the map. The army supplies are currently 116 to 32. So Pilly needs army, and he needs it fast.
Exactly. He's got the production, but he needs to get it out really, really quickly. Tefl's got a beautiful army pushing across the map. Not only that, but he's got a great economy. Pilly's third is done, but it's been done for too long. Tefl's been mining on it. They're even, and he wants to end the game pretty short. He's one disruptor shot. Ooh, it picks up a little bit, but there's only one disruptor shot and one immortal right here. The Roach Hydra pushes a wedge between the third base and the natural. The disruptor goes down. There's no AoE. Every once in a while, you'll see a couple of scared Colossuses come out, but it's not going to be enough. GG, Tefl, 2-0, moves on to the winner's match.
GG, well played. Tefl's drop, it didn't get too many probe kills, but it was so important in scouting that blink. Tefl may have actually known that was coming anyways. I mean, it's a Pilly signature, and it's very popular in that map, as we've mentioned before. But Tefl saw it coming and did a great job defending against it.
It's also cool with the ability to Overlord drop in those positions, and on a bigger map like Ruins of Ceres, of course, you have an Evo Chamber now, and a lot of Zergs, not so much now, but kind of an earlier Legacy of the Void, still a little bit now. How do we deal with Protoss? Actually, how do we deal with Protoss Adepts? It was, okay, we're going to go mass +2 Lings and see how that works, and so you can start getting those earlier upgrade paths going if you want to transition into something like Ling, but not so much anymore. However, Tefl with a 2-0, very convincing win over Pilly, who is arguably one of the best North American players at the moment.
Yes, he is. Pilly is a very strong player, so GG, well played to Tefl.
GG, well played. The next map will be Koshkii versus, I believe, Zergwave. It's going to be a TVZ. If Zergwave is Zerg, I'm pretty sure he is, but there's one player, there's Probe, who's not a Protoss player. Australia. We're going to go to
I believe Zergwave is Zerg.
Yeah, Zergwave is Zerg. All right. We're going to go to a quick commercial break before the first series, I think. We'll switch it over to Hawkeye for that. Of course, he'll make the big decision. But thanks, guys, for tuning in. We're going to have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 more matches. I can never quite do the math with this, but we're going to have a whole bunch more matches on the way, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is RSL. Check out at RSL SE2 and follow below if you can. Really, it would mean a lot, and it would be able to support us. See you in a few short minutes after this ad break to see Koshkii face Zergwave.